whether I think is really
Mangia TV.
life that we lost.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Robert Heffernan, Mangia.tv. Just playing a little country background for me doggies right behind me. Look at those doggies. Those are Crowd Cow cows. All right, Crowd Cow. Crowd Cow is really a technology company, I would say, and they're hooking up incredibly raised, hormone-free, antibiotic-free beef with the general public. And I'm going to have Joe on in a second. And we're going to talk cow tipping. First of all, though, let's get to some plugs. First plug, Cellar Angels. You know, if you want to have the best wine collection amongst your crew, you really need to subscribe to Cellar Angels and start buying some small vintner production out of Sonoma and Napa County, California. Use Mangia wine on the checkout, and Cellar Angels is going to take care of the shipping portion, 1 bottle to a case. Again, Cellar Angels has got the greatest wines you're going to find anywhere, small production, and you're going to blow people away with the wine cellar that you build from Cellar Angel Wines. All right, listen, let's work with technology. Let me take my hat off and see if we can't get technology to work with us tonight. And call in Joe. Hold on the set. We got a door open on the set. Always something on the Mangia TV studio set. All right, let's see. Let's see if we can get Joe. Come on, technology. Look at that.
How's it going?
Joe, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
All right, I can hear you.
But I can't see you.
That's all right. I figured it out. It's XSplit Broadcaster has my the attention of my video camera and will not let Skype use it. They can't get along.
Oh, I see. I know that deal. It's like
Yeah,
single.
Yeah. They can't get along. But you can't see me. But behind me, I have some beautiful bovines in a beautiful grass field pulled from the Crowd Cow
Nice.
stream. They look fantastic. They look happy and healthy. And so let's talk. Let's talk cow tipping. All right.
Cow tipping. I think we're just trying to redefine the term. That means getting the best quality possible beef direct from ranches and exploring lots of different ranches and the variety that's out there.
Exactly. Now, me and you talked earlier this week or last week how your company is kind of a technology company, would you say? And I think it's one that goes towards both of our common goal of disrupting the industrial food complex that we find ourselves in. And so tell us a little bit about how Crowd Cow does exactly that.
Yeah, that's where we talk about is we're the anti-factory beef or the anti-industrial beef. We are so the opposite of that and so unique. We're technology or platform is kind of what we are. We're on one side a way for customers to learn about beef itself, all the cuts, learn about ranches, all the transparency about how they do things, celebrate the differences they have, and you get that delivered really easily. And on the other side, the ranch side, we're a way for these small ranches that have no way to reach consumers except really who's willing to drive over there and has a meat freezer and so forth to reach and ship their beef all over the place. So a platform for fulfillment and distribution. 80+% of the beef in this country rolls up to 4 companies. And it may have a sticker on it that says it's this kind of beef or a sticker that says that kind of beef, but ultimately at the end of the day, they make beef like they make ketchup. It's like they take all these different tomatoes and they try to mix them together and have the same flavor every time. And we actually think it's pretty interesting when you meet a 4th generation family ranch with a Black Angus DNA that's been managed for its natural immunity from bees and its marbling, and it grows on a certain kind of field, and it eats a certain kind of grass-fed, grass-finished, and it has a certain flavor for that. I think that's really worth celebrating, and it's really interesting. So we find ranches like that have a great story, that have a wonderful practice, and no antibiotics, no hormones. We talk about everything they do, and we make it accessible to everyone.
All right, obviously the industrial food complex tried to do one thing, and that was just deliver a ton of food at the lowest price point possible.
Yeah.
But weigh in on this side of it, because I think people got used to thinking that everybody was a value shopper, but I think the market in general is pretty shitty at the entire cost side of something. So yeah, you're getting beef that's cheaper, but the cost side of, you know, the health problems that come with industrial agriculture, and nobody seems to want to take a look at that. I guess that it is changing, and it's changing because people understand, and I think the health issues are number one on people's minds, but they also understand that building communities depends on supporting all kinds of local businesses, and agricultural being one of them. So just talk about that a little bit.
Sure. I mean, there's so many sides to that. I think there's a growing sense in this country that through industrial food processes, there's various bad things that people are hiding from you. They don't want you to know about that. So they're printing a pretty picture on the thing, and they're saying it's this and that. But behind the scenes, there's some pretty bad stuff that they don't want to show you. Right? And I think people are wary of that. I think the internet is the opposite of that. We love to like click through and show me the live stream. You know, that's kind of our vision, is like, take out all of that bad stuff. You don't need it, and the overhead and whatever. Go direct. And I actually think we can, over time, provide a better value, and I mean price as well, and all of that quality that we're talking about. Some of the stuff on the community side, though, man, I mean, we know that by and large, farmers are getting older. You know, it's one of these areas where, you know, I met one of our farms. The son has gone off and is working on Wall Street for like McKinsey as a consultant. You know, no chance. Well, maybe there's some chance, but it's a pretty slim chance that he's going to come back and take over the family farm that's in its third generation. So, as those situations, you know, get rolled into the industrial thing, they're not managed by people who care. They're managed by people who show up to do a job. And again, the sort of practices that I think people don't like about industrial food kind of get swept under the rug because there's not someone there to care. So we're sort of stripping out like all the stuff that could go wrong and just dealing directly with the people who actually do care, and making it fully transparent because we have nothing to hide and they have nothing to hide. In fact, it's wonderful stuff that happens at all these farms, and making it directly accessible. No middleman, no overhead, no retail, much simpler distribution, and therefore the price is great too.
All right, let's talk a little bit about price. There are a few things that I am an expert at. All right, few things, but one thing I am an expert at is price discovery and technical charting of especially commodity markets. The June, keeps going out, and I want people to see your beautiful face. There we go. One thing I am sure about is that the June cattle contract on the CME, I think, made a contract high today. Cattle prices have been rebounding all year after last year's bottoming in prices. How does the cost side of the industrial cattle market affect the prices people pay for a crowd cow?
Not a lot, because we're not the industrial beef market. You know, frankly, at the end of the day, I think there are ranches that are part of that, and they're auctioning them off. And like the key word is commodity, right? It's literally price per pound, whether that's on the hoof, the animal, or on the hanging weight. And then it's just how it gets graded out the other end. And when you go to your meat counter, nobody can tell you even where it came from, even what country it came from. That's how commoditized it is. And so we're just the utterly complete opposite of that. I haven't dealt with a single ranch that's sort of got 1 foot in the commodity beef world and 1 foot in our world. And I also haven't met a ranch that wants to have a foot in the industrial beef world long term. I have talked to ranches that have a foot in both worlds, and they would much rather go this way because all sorts of reasons. Like a lot of ranchers are doing it because they care or because it's been in their family for generations. A lot of them are very proud of the beef they have, and to see it get auctioned off as being a price taker and to not know where it goes. So I hear this all the time. It's like, we have this DNA that comes from the 1850s. Black Angus was developed from the original herd, but it's such a large herd that to make ends meet, we can't sell it all to a farmer's market because there's nothing near us that's big enough.
Right.
And so we auction it off and it disappears. I say, where does it go? And they say, I don't know.
Right.
What do you mean you don't know? I don't know. Just
Yeah.
just goes away into that machine of industrial beef. So that's the long and short of it is we don't touch that world. We don't want to. We never will. Most everybody who is selling beef online or in grocery stores is calling a broker and they're saying make sure it has this or that sticker on it. We're just couldn't be more opposite from that.
Right. Well, you know what? It's funny because I've been kind of on this trail, no pun intended, with the cows behind me.
Yeah.
Towards how we can, I like the hashtag move the needle,
Mm-hmm.
and how at the end of the day, people's dollars are what moves the needle. And
Yeah.
the other thing that moves the needle, obviously, is education and people's awareness of what's going on.
Yeah.
And even from the corporate side of things, I just want to mention this. I was at an Applebee's the other day here in Bend, and they had 9 taps, right?
Yeah.
7 of those taps, 6 were local within 15 miles of the Applebee, local beer.
Yeah.
1 was a regional, and then only 2 macro brewers.
Awesome.
And if you would have said to Applebee's 10 years ago or 15 years ago, you're not going to have any macro brews on your taps but 2, they would have been like, you're crazy.
Yeah.
But the micro brew movement, I think, is kind of a nice, indication of what can happen when people really start to take back the artisanship of the food production system.
Yeah, I love that analogy. I often find myself explaining that to people who hear why are we doing what we do. That's the big opportunity. The opportunity is not, oh, this is cute, or this is better beef or something. The opportunity is totally disrupting a giant market. You're in the grocery store at the beef counter. The guy behind the counter can't tell you even what country that beef is from typically. You're going to spend more on that steak than you will on the wine. Take 20 steps behind you and turn left and you see wine from every country and every region. Turn to the right, beer from everywhere. Go down an aisle, you've got coffee. It's the same story. And we believe that will happen with beef. We're super inspired by those stories that have come before us. And we believe in it too, because honestly, to be completely open and honest with you, we had early adopter friends who were buying from a farm directly, and we were jealous to try that, just curious. That sounds amazing, but I don't know. Let me try it, but it's too hard to get. When we got into this and started to do it, what I realized is the opportunity is much, much, much bigger than, oh, that's interesting or cute or fun or a little better or healthier or grass-fed or this or that. The opportunity is wow, these are all very different. And the story's great. And I feel good that my dollars are going to those people. And, as I've gotten into it, I had one of our ranchers who does a full blood, that's 100% DNA, traceable to Japan Wagyu. He invited us over, and we're his primary channel now. But he invited us over and said he had 5 different Wagyu beef. That's within the world of beef, just Wagyu, and 5 different kinds of Wagyu. And we had a taste testing. And honestly, it was a little bit like, let's be open-minded because how different can they be?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And we were all kind of like that, went in there very, and I couldn't tell you how different they are. We had Wagyu from Japan. We had from 3 different full blood from the United States. We had 1 grass-fed, grass-finished Wagyu. They all were different in terms of the mouthfeel, the aftertaste, how beefy the punch was, or how smooth it was. It was incredible. And of course, that's very true when you move from Wagyu to Angus to other breeds to different finishes. Grass-fed, what does that mean? There are many kinds of grass. The environment that the cow is raised in will change that. Again, through the industrial beef process, they want it to be like ketchup, where all tastes the same.
Exactly.
But it's not. It doesn't have to be that way. We're being robbed of this opportunity to enjoy something really precious. And again, you're spending more money on the steak than the wine, so you deserve it.
Let me ask you this: do you have plans, or is there plans with Crowd Cow for any wholesale? I mean, I can imagine for restaurants, or even the Tuscan Chuck Wagon.
I thought you were going to ask about pork.
No, my food cart. I smoke a mean pot roast and make a mean pot roast slider. But is there any thoughts on wholesale, the wholesale side of it?
We've had a little increase here there. I think it's a function of scale and focus. I mean, when we say like, what would it take to really be best in the world at servicing a restaurant it'd be like, I think it's like they need to be able to call you and say, hey, Joe, I need 5 ribeyes by 7 p.m. We're running out. And I want to be best in the world at something when I do it. So I think that, frankly, first we'll build the nationwide network of local sustainable farms. We'll build that up, and then when we have that capability, we can also serve those restaurants. And of course, we get pinged all the time by chefs and who want the different kinds of beef that we have. And certainly, I think that opportunity will be there if we can build that network.
All right, so right now, where is Crowd Cow tipping available?
Crowdcow.com.
Yeah, but everywhere in the country?
As of tomorrow morning, everywhere in the country.
Tomorrow morning. Breaking news. I need the lower third.
That's supposed to be under embargo, but I realize it's all right. No, tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, lower 48, we'll be able to order Crowd Cow for the first time, and we're really excited about it. We have worked super hard the last few months and brought on a number of amazing ranches on the East Coast that are just incredible.
All right, and so just to be clear, part of your business model is that you put a cow up, and the tipping part of it, as we punned on, is when you sell that whole cow, correct?
Yep. Yeah. So we're listing all of the cuts of a single animal, and you're choosing exactly what you want from that. So it's never, here's a box of beef, you figure it out. If all you want's ribeyes, you can get just ribeyes. If you want to explore oxtail, you'll find a recipe for that to go with it. So it's very much, you're in control. There's no subscription. It's just an event comes, you claim your share, tip the cow, and become a stakeholder.
No pun intended. And let me tell you something on that oxtail. Move back away from the table when somebody does the oxtail right, because that is insanely great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right, listen, man, that is just awesome. Thank you so much for being part of the revolution, because I really do think, I interviewed Liz at Agricultural Connections here in Bend last week, and they're another company that's moving the needle by visiting a bunch of farms, and they're kind of like a CSA, but it's a like all of Oregon kind of CSA. So they're doing great things. I know you guys are too. Your video, this technology is going to get called into my office and given a stern lecture to. The audio has been great the whole way through, I think, but for some reason I'm going to have to put a clown's face on that Skype thing and for some of this. All right, Joe, thank you so much.
Cool.
All right, listen.
Thank you.
Mangia Nation is crowdcow.com, and you order from them, and you can do your part to move the needle and gouge some of this industrial meat complex that has no heart or soul. All right, I said it.
I agree. Thank you.
All right, Joe, thank you so much, and we will talk soon. All
Great,
right?
thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, how great is that, man? Crowd cow tipping. Order some Crowd Cow beef. All right? I got a funny story about that. A lot of you know me. I come from the farm. We've been tipping cows on the farm for as long as I can remember. And I just heard a story that warmed my heart. Last week, my brother Paul was out at the farm having dinner with the mom. And they were sitting out on the porch looking out over the acreage. And he said, Ma, I kind of miss the cows. And she's like, she's like, I kind of miss the goats. And he's like, wow, Ma, you kind of miss the goats running around? That's kind of neat. And she goes, no, end product. I miss the goats in the freezer. A little hand for the mom, who at 92 now is probably dancing with Mr. Castro, not Fidel, the other one. She's in Cuba. How about that? 92, down to Cuba. I guarantee you when she's in Cuba, she's going to be able to hammer out some new foods in the Mangia 300 Foods Challenge. I'm at 176, thanks mostly to Agricultural Connections. And I added bok choy, Yukina Savoy. Anybody know that one? Lovage. My sister Laura first introduced me to Lovage. red butter lettuce, salad turnips, key lime cucumbers. It's all right there in the Agricultural Connections weekly produce bucket. Produce box, I guess they call it. All right, produce box. All right, listen, we had a first ever on the food cart on Saturday night. I guess it was Saturday night, was it? And I got a public service announcement for you, so check this out. Streaming live from the Chuck Wagon, and we got Tony Lampa in the background. You know, he's going to come up and sing a song for us, hopefully. And it's one of my favorite songs along the thread of tomatoes, you know, and how much I hate restaurants that serve unripened tomatoes. I mean, if you got a restaurant, you got to have a windowsill. You get tomatoes that aren't ripe, how about you just put them on the windowsill? I told you how much I hate tomatoes that aren't ripe. And then you played Homegrown Tomatoes, Guy Clark, one of my favorite tunes of all time. Here we go. Right? Let's do it!
They ain't nothing I like better. Bacon and lettuce and homegrown tomatoes. Up in the morning, out in the garden, get you right. Don't get a heart. Plant 'em in the spring, eat 'em in the summer. All winter without 'em, so cute and they're bummer. I forget all about flushing and digging. Every time I go out, pick me a big and homegrown tomatoes. Homegrown tomatoes. What will I be without homegrown tomatoes? The only two things that money can't buy. That's true love and homegrown tomatoes. You go out and eat, that's for sure. It's nothing that a homegrown tomato can't cure. Put them in a salad, you can stick them in a stew. Make your very own tomato juice. You can eat them with eggs, eat them with gravy, eat them with beans. Pinto or navy, put them on the side, you can stick them in the middle. A homegrown tomato on a hot cake griddle. Homegrown tomatoes, homegrown tomatoes. What will I be without homegrown tomatoes? The only two things that money can't buy. And that's true love and homegrown tomatoes, homegrown tomatoes, homegrown tomatoes. What will I be without homegrown tomatoes? The only two things that money can't buy. That's true love and homegrown tomatoes.
All right, listen, I want to tell you something. After I learned one thing. When you invite a musician up to play out of the Chuck Wagon, let the musician play. I don't know what I was thinking about, trying to sing along. Brutal. And I don't know if anybody noticed, about halfway through, Tony kept on looking to the ground because he dropped his guitar pick. And I got it. So Tony Lampa, I got your guitar pick. I've been playing with it, and so you might not get it back. That's all I got to say. All right, listen, you guys have a great week. Do yourself a favor and cook somebody a meal, all right? How about you do the whole family a favor and buy some steaks from Crowd Cow. Support, maybe not your local, right? Maybe not your local, but a small beef producer, hormone-free, antibiotic-free, grass-fed, incredible beef available, all right? And you support these types of things, we actually get to move the needle. We get to change the industrial food complex for the better. All right, you guys have a great week. We will see you next week for Cooking Vamp 106. All right, see you then.
Come into my kitchen, babe. I'm gonna fix you something to eat. I'm gonna mix it up with passion. Gonna throw a pinch of something sweet. So lay your troubles down by the door. I'll take it when you ask for more. Well, I'm the culinary doctor of legendary Mangia. The world is my recipe.